If at first you don't succeed, try again. Peace. And welcome to Not Church. No doctrine, no dogma, no Bravo, Sierra. Mysticism. I'm Peter Panagore, MDiv. Visit peterpanagore.love to find out more. One summer's day, Dr. Eugene McCarthy, known as the father of the second opinion, stopped me on our gravel road in coastal Maine. Peter, said Dr. McCarthy, I fund an annual visiting professorship at Boston College. Each one has a public lecture. You are invited to attend as my guest, and I'll pay all your expenses. My entire family and theological luminaries from all over Boston will crowd the lecture hall. The title, which I think will interest you, is Jesus and the Extraterrestrials. The professor will be speaking about the expansive nature of the universality present in Christ and universal salvation. Wow, at Boston College. Like me, Dr. McCarthy was also a contemplative devotee of Father Thomas Keating, founder of Centering Prayer Practice. I went to the lecture. Today, title is Jesus, Belief, and Extraterrestrials. Answering the question I'm asked so often, do we need to believe in Jesus in order to be saved? He said, when two or more are gathered, I am, the light is there, the multiplier. So, as we begin every week, inside each of us, inside the temple of the heart, is the holy light and love. The way is within. When we chant and meditate and pray together, we share in the timeless light from each inside of us to each of the other, between us and among us. But you don't need to take my word for it. Experience it for yourself. So let's move beyond belief into experience. Let's chant Om, which I know is controversial for some Christians because they tell me, let's chant Om 3 times and then enter into silence together through centering prayer practice using our chakras as I described it last week and last Wednesday's meditation practice, third eye space, single eye space as your focal point. Because the title of that video is Emptiness Leads to the Void. So you can check it out if you want to. The link is below, and that'll help you understand what we're going to do. But that's for another time. Let's begin with 3 ohms and then centering ourselves together. Centering prayer. Relax. I'm going to say hello to everyone else this morning who popped in. Sean, Ronan, Charlie, Susie, and Maggie, hello there. Thanks for saying hi. Today, Jesus, belief, and the extraterrestrials. Near death experiencer Daniel Pinchbeck wrote, "The universe only pretends to be made of matter. Secretly, it is made of love. All over the universe, from the beginning to the end, is secretly made of love and light, inseparable. When I was my true self, my soul, unencumbered by body, my consciousness, an energy being, a higher vibration, awash in the eternal ocean of heavenly love, I saw, felt, experienced this same secret love with a capital L. I saw it woven from heaven into and through the fabric of all matter, omnipresent, omnipotent. The light of all there is pointed a portion of its infinite focus on me, giving me understanding and showing me that every galaxy and everything there is, and every planet, including Earth, and everyone on Earth, with every one of them believing what they believe, with all of their beliefs, their divergent beliefs. Each of those people, each of you, each of us, in my death when I was in heaven, was also a focal point of a portion of the infinitely immense mystery of incomprehensible love. The love itself is beyond timelessness, powerful beyond comprehension, and pervasive, being everywhere in everyone in everything all the time. God gave me a new understanding, an old understanding of the nature of what Christians call Christ consciousness. Others call it Allah or Atman or energy or source or the divinity or the divine. This it, this isness with a capital I, is always ineffable and ever present in every elemental quark and lepton particle, in all matter, in all energy, in every electromagnetic frequency, as far back in time, as the Hubble telescope can see within the confines of the speed of light, giving humans an eye in the sky to see 13 billion years into the past, and other galaxies and stars and planets, some habitable. I was outside of time and space when I was dead in heaven and saw love inside not just everyone on earth, but everywhere, in all time, all through the entire universe. All of it, all of it. And when I returned to my body alive again, born again, when the me of me, with a capital M, that me, my higher, highest self, was put on this skin suit again, entering into matter and suffering again, I carried with me through no action of my own this new understanding, this old understanding of the universal Christ consciousness. Call this the frequency of consciousness. Call this the cosmic consciousness. Call this the universal truth, or whatever suits you. This new to me truth dematerialized my previous beliefs, putting them out of their misery, putting me out of my misery of judgment. Love is everywhere, all the time, in everyone, no matter who or what they believe. at their core, no matter human or extraterrestrial. Now, after the publications of the live video recordings shot from the U.S. Navy jet fighters of their interactions with UFOs years ago, after last year's news of our Atlantic fleet coming under daily observation week after week, after last week's news, quote, U.S. defense officials have announced the launch of a task force to investigate reports of unidentified flying objects in restricted airspace. It's safe to say that human beings aren't the pinnacle of God's creation, as many Christians believe. We are the Homo sapiens species living on one planet in the Milky Way galaxy filled with billions of planets and a universe filled with billions of galaxies filled with planets. The Boston College public lecture began with an extinction event 66 million years ago. The massive asteroid impact crater beneath the Mexican Yucatan Peninsula was first seen from space. The smash created a 330-foot tsunami as a cloud, this is a quote, as a cloud of hot dust, ash, and steam spread from the crater as the impactor burrowed underground in less than a second. Evacuated material along with pieces of the impactor ejected out of the atmosphere by the blast would have been heated to incandescence upon re-entry. Gravity is a real thing, broiling the Earth's surface and probably igniting wildfires. Meanwhile, colossal shock waves would have triggered global earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. Fossil evidence for an instantaneous die-off of diverse animals was found in a soil layer only 10 centimeters or 4 inches thick in New Jersey. Sorry, bad accent, in New Jersey, which is 3,100 miles or 5,000 kilometers away from the impact site, indicating that death and burial under debris occurred suddenly and quickly over wide distances of land. Dead, dead, dead. 66 million years ago, extinction level event. Given time, what would the dinosaurs have evolved into? And I want to thank Wikipedia for that quote. The end of the dinosaurs was the beginning of the rise of mammals leading to human civilization. And we've only been Homo sapiens for 200,000 years, not very long. Now, imagine 70 million years ago, back to Boston College. Now, imagine 70 million years ago, another planet in a far off star system populated with dinosaurs. An extinction level asteroid misses their planet, and the dinosaurs evolve into bipedal, self aware, brainy reptiles capable of language, technology, high art, symphonies, commerce, nations, peace, and war, just like us. So, could Jesus, human Homo sapien Jesus, the mammal, the man, the biblical gospel preacher, born in a space and time, in a place, a product of his culture, Aramaic, Jewish, Middle Eastern, dark skinned, long hair, bare feet, sandals probably. Could Jesus save those reptilians? Could he appear on their planet? Or are they excluded from salvation? Now imagine silicone-based life. Any Star Trek fans here? Did you ever see the episode from the 1960s about the silicone-based intelligent life? Not far-fetched. Possible. Now imagine silicone-based life instead of carbon-based life growing into a civilization. Could carbon Jesus be born on their planet? Or consider Earth. Is Earth the only place with those very few Christians? The only ones in all the universe to get saved. Why would love above be so abusive as to intentionally exclude not just human non-Christians, Muslims, Jews, Zoroastrians, Jains, atheists, agnostics, take your pick, shaman, but exclude every creature in all of the universe's billions of years? Is God so selfish and small to offer salvation to such a tiny fraction of humans who've ever lived on our planet, and such a much, much, much smaller fraction of intelligent life throughout the universe? Or would a loving deity who meets each of us with compassion in our custom made mystical experiences that teach us wisdom, humble wisdom, in order to draw us closer in the temple of our hearts, would such a loving deity not send a custom made Christ to each planet to suit the silicone or reptilian people who live there? And yeah, I'm making those up. But we are not alone in the universe. This is a truism. Are they excluded? Jesus said, God and I are one. This remains true. And he hoped it would be true of all of us. May they be one like the Father and I are one. Those of us who have been shown, been inside the oneness, in the unity, seen for ourselves, and I'm not alone in this, seen the truth of this love with a capital L being the secret sauce of the universe, hidden, the hidden truth, omnipresent in all there is. How selfish and abusive would God need to be to only welcome into light, the light of paradise, only an infinitesimally small number of certain kinds of Christians into heaven? Cosmic Christ is astronomical. UFOs are real. We are not alone in the universe. This is a theology shattering event when we discover the truth that humanity is not the pinnacle of creation, nor even are humans the most advanced species anywhere. Those UFOs, they do things we can't do or understand in physics. Look it up for yourself. Don't take my word for it. The rapid decline of church and theology, in America is exponential. And it's been going on for 40 years, and it's exponential now. Mysticism, like Jesus, like Rumi, knows no bounds. The cosmic Christ, the cosmic consciousness, the cosmic Christ consciousness, the source of all, the pervasive vibration of energy, love, pervades everything, everywhere, all the time. Christ never left here. The second coming, it's already here. It's always been here. That's what you feel inside yourself in your mystical experience. You feel the divine presence. Ineffable. Name it if you want to. I name it because I have to. But in my heart, it has no name. It is ineffable. It is all there is, pervasive in everything and everywhere. I see, I feel, I touch, and way beyond me. Infinitely and astronomically. Believing in Jesus as taught by the church helps millions of people grow in their faith, and let them be. But understand the answer to the question, must we believe in Jesus? Must we believe in Jesus? No. Is it helpful? Yes. Is he an awakened, enlightened master? Resurrected? Yes. Why not? Why not everywhere like that? On every planet like that? Why not awakening in your own heart? Why not tapping into the Christ consciousness inside of you? The way out is the way in. And the way in shows that it is outside everywhere, all the time. So, must we believe in Jesus? Maybe the way you were taught, maybe not. Tell me in the comments what you think. Today we close with an appropriate Rumi poem, What Jesus Runs Away From. The Son of Mary, Jesus, hurries up a slope as though a wild animal were chasing him. Someone following him asks, "Where are you going? No one is after you." Jesus keeps on, saying nothing across 2 more fields. Are you the one who says words over a dead person so that he wakes up? I am. Did you not make the clay birds fly? Yes. Who then could possibly cause you to run like this? Jesus slows his pace. I say the great name over the deaf and the blind. They are healed. Over a stony mountainside, and it tears its mantle down to the navel. Over non-existence, it comes into existence. But when I speak lovingly for hours, for days, with those who take human warmth and mock it, when I say the name to them, nothing happens. They remain rock or turn to sand where no plants can grow. Other diseases are ways for mercy to enter. But this non-responding breeds violence and coldness toward God. I am fleeing from that. As little by little air steals water, so praise dries up and evaporates with foolish people who refuse to change. Like cold stone you sit on, a cynic steals body heat. He doesn't feel the sun. Jesus wasn't running from actual people. He was teaching a new way. Christ is the population of the world and every object as well. There's no room for hypocrisy. Why use bitter soup for healing when sweet water is everywhere? A poem by Rumi. Peace and love, everyone. Thanks for listening with the ear of your heart. If the water was sweet today, keep this mystical ministry going. Thank you. Thanks to every one of you who gives support so regularly. Couldn't be here without you. If you want to speak with me, visit peterpanagore.love, where you will find all of my links and programs. If you've been listening to Not Church for a while and it's slacked your thirst, Please subscribe and thanks. Join our global community of humble mystics at Mystic Tea Salon at the top of the hour on Zoom. Links below. Last Sunday, we had 47 people. There's no pressure to talk. Feel free to lurk. He was teaching a new way. Christ is the population of the world, and every object as well. So let's see what's going on over there in the chat. Take off my glasses to read that because it's actually fairly far away. Maybe I'll move my mic first. And I may have an interview today at noon, but I can't find any info on it. So if it's there, I'm going to have to, after Mystic Tea Salon, I'll have to duck out at noon, but we'll see. And I want to mention that I finally got an iPod to link with my iPad so I can leave my communication device off on the side. So if I have microphone problems, which I, often do, if you contact me about it, I'm actually going to be able to see it now, and hear it and fix it. So I fixed that whole setup problem. Thanks for alerting me to that. Thank you very much. All right, so back to the chat. Are there Christian words that there are many Christian words? Oh, wow, I don't even know where to begin. Hey, if you have a question for me, and because there's so many things in the chat, I will go back through it. But you can use there's like a device where it's not super chat, but it's like super chat. You can ask a question and it highlights it. I don't remember the name of it, but it's over here in the chat. And if you want to bring it to my attention, either put it in the bottom of the chat right now or highlight it somehow. But I'll go back through the chat and see what's going on. Let's see. Thank you, says Wanda. You're welcome, Wanda. Deeply moving and provocative as always. It's great to be where thinking is encouraged. Yeah, thinking is encouraged here. And one of the things I wonder about sometimes with what I do, is it too dense? Is there too much information? Or am I able to pull it off for you? I'm curious about that. Let me know in the comments. That would be great for me to know. Because I like writing, and I like writing at the level at which I'm at. Like language wise, and hopefully that works for you. I try to be poetic, I try to be lyrical, I sometimes I try to be funny, but anyway, so that's help me out if you can. Let me know what you think about how I present. Your words touch me to the deepest core of my being. Your book has changed my life. Thank you for saying so, Amy. This thing that touches to the core of the being, this is not me. I know I'm a channel, but I am not like a river channel that gets a little damp on the bottom and on the sides. Uh, the flow of the water is the flow of the water, and the channel is just the course through which it moves. If anything, I'm just the channel. That thing you feel, that's because it's already inside of you, and it recognizes itself inside of me. And yes, I do practice pushing it out, but not with intent. Just the intent is to release it and let it be felt. And in feeling it, well, that's what the whole Not Church is all about. The divine experience, the life changing divine experience that is right there inside of you. Last night, I went to the Blessing of the Fleet in my little harbor, and something I started decades ago. And I haven't participated in quite a number of years. And standing next to me was a Christian Scientist woman I'd known 20 years ago. We hadn't talked in the whole time. Gosh, it must be 20 years we haven't talked. She talked about this same thing. She talked about the concept of the kingdom of heaven within. She talked about the light being everywhere, inside of her. I could see it. And there was a woman standing behind me, having a few drinks, having a good time. She had the sparkle in her. She talked about it. This thing is everywhere. It's inside of everyone if we open our eyes to see it. So if you feel it from me here, I thank you for telling me, because that's the whole purpose of this, is to try to provide a space where you can experience the divine presence itself and grow that inside yourself. Then you don't need me anymore. You only need the divine. So thanks for saying so. I think that was Amy. Thank you, Christina. Thank you very much. That's very sweet of you. Thank you for the super chat. Susie, beautiful and provocative talk, Peter. This is one of my many favorites you have done so far. Thank you, Susie. Well done, and thank you so much. Thank you. And my thanks to Dr. McCarthy. So, Dr. McCarthy, so I got to tell you about this guy a little bit. I'll tell you a little bit about him. He was an eccentric, okay? And he owned this property that was behind me. He lived in New York City. He taught medicine at NYU. He taught medicine somewhere in the city in Manhattan. I don't remember where, and did all these really great things in his life. He was the guy who invented the second opinion. Um, um, Remember Karen Ann Quinlan, the Karen Ann Quinlan case of the when she was in the coma for I don't know how many years, and they were talking about unplugging her. He was involved in that. Like he was an interesting guy, and he was a contemplative for all of this. He owned a hotel over here. He owned a hotel and hired foreign students, and it was it was a pleasure and an honor to know this guy. And he funded this chair at Boston College for years out of his pocket. And I don't know if he helped pick these professors, but this particular professor about Jesus and the extraterrestrials. For those of you, I'm going to a little background here. For those of you who've ever heard of Karl Rahner, the Catholic theologian, he talks about this. Karl Rahner. And there was some allusion to that in the talk at BC, but I didn't want to bring that in because it was a little much. Looking for highlight. You're looking for the highlight, Judith? What do you mean? I'd love to give you a highlight. So, are our prayers heard and answered? Is there a higher power we can connect with? Green Beagle 13? Oh yeah. 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 Is there? Yes. It's all there is. And yes, the prayers are heard. There is nothing that happens in all the universe that is unknown. Nothing happens. No one says peep without it being, as some might say, recorded in the Akashic records. Or I might say, understood and seen by the all seer, by the omnipotent recorder in the book of heaven, which is in the book, or the data bank of heaven, or the cloud of heaven, the pixels of heaven, the bits of heaven. Yes, prayers are heard. That is really not the question, though. The question is, are they answered? We could talk about that. Some ways, yeah. So, one of the things that I learned in my life isn't so much to pray for things, even outcomes of illness, serious things. I do pray for people, that's for sure. Surround them with light, send love to them. But I think the lives of the mystics show that the truest, deepest prayer is the self emptying. The emptiness of self allows kingdom of heaven to grow within, and then it pervades everything in life. So, yes, Green Beagle 13, there is a higher power. Been there, seen that. Can't unsee it. Been there more than once. Super chat allows a person to send money and a highlight and only and a highlighted chat. Oh, so highlighted chat. That's what you're saying, Judith. Thanks. Hi, Charlie. Yes, Peter, I'm always feeling the divine vibes flowing through. That's what we're talking about. When you have a mystical experience, when a person has a mystical experience, you can use that and tap that and open yourself up to the divine presence everywhere, as Charlie does. It's a universal thing. It comes along with the mystical experience. And the more you aim your heart at that oneness of being that's already inside you, the more experiential that can become for you. And self emptying has a lot to do with it. Thank you, Peter. I appreciate you and what you speak of so much. You're welcome, Rachel. I have trauma from spiritual people and communities now called religious abuse. But yes, spiritual traumas, religious abuse from people and communities that I'm trying to heal from. This space is very helpful. Super. That's what we're trying to do here. I'm trying to create a place where we can where deconstruction is accepted, where we can talk about religious abuse, where we can heal from religious abuse, where you can, but all of these things are all centered in the oneness of being, in the interior light and love. In that interior place, is accessible, experiential, and it can help heal. So people talk about healing all the time. This is what I'm talking about with healing: emotional, psychological, religious, spiritual healing. Thank you for saying so. I appreciate that very much. Rachel. Hey, Pat. Thank you, Peter. Yes, your words resonate beautifully. Thank you. Love your community. Thank you. Thanks for calling it my community, but I consider it your community. That's the whole point of Mystic Tea Salon. This is a collective. And maybe I've formed it. Yeah, but I did. Okay. But I'm not in charge of it. This is just one single grouping pulled out of the tens of millions of illuminated hearts. But thanks for being here, bringing your little light here. And I hope this continues to grow. Thanks, Pat. I was told to read my Akashic record, Connie said. I'll By my spirit guide. I hope you can. I hope you do. I'm not able to do that yet, but I'm trying. Good luck. Peace be with that journey. I hope so. Charlie, I meant flowing through me. Oh, flowing through me and a little through you as well. Oh, thanks, Charlie. Um, the One of the points of why all of the ministry that I've ever done in my entire life is it arises from my return to life on the second morning. It's in the book, um, where the message needed to be communicated, and this flow is the message itself. All this other stuff that I do, all this deconstruction and languaging, and maybe entertaining, poetry, deep thinking, all this kind of stuff. Fun, yeah, for sure for me. Hopefully for you. But all of that is sort of the icing on the cake, and the cake itself is this divine presence. That's really what. If my goal is, if I can show you, or if you can experience the flow from me that isn't mine, it's not my flow. I don't own this flow. But if you can experience it from me, you can awaken it in yourself. And if you can awaken it in yourself, then you can drive your taproot down into the heart of the divine. And by growing your taproot down into the heart of the divine, you tap into the flow and you bring heaven to yourself, into your interior world. And then it begins to pervade everything you do and can extend from you. That's why we meditate together, is so that we can use these cables that run between us, these beams of light that run between us. I think that uh, um, I don't know that they can do this yet, but I know that there was talk about trying to send data through laser beams. Like maybe they already can do that, and I just don't know that. But there's data it gets sent between the laser beams of our hearts, and that data is the divine self. And in order to be a receiver of the divine light, you already have to have it. Everybody does, and all you need to do is uncap that little space and let it grow inside you. And I'm trying to create a laser beaming my chakras, but also diffusing them out, letting this flow through me. I, 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 that's my life's work. All the rest of the stuff I've done, that's all the ways in which I've tried to do that. But you have this inside of yourself. And that's why I'm confident in you, because I'm confident in the union of the divine. Let them all be one like you and I are one, Jesus said to God. That's what I want for you too. Back to the chat. Good afternoon, Peter and Charlie. Hey, Cal Extra. Good afternoon to you too. Hey, Helen Dillard. Source is love. It shows through Jesus, but may show differently in another galaxy. Yeah, it could. Probably does. He definitely doesn't use the same words. How could he? Different language. Even rocks have energy. Those rocks, if you shut up the people, the rocks will shout out, he said on the way into Jerusalem. Yes, rocks have energy, and we are all held together by love. Thanks, Helen, for sure. Charlie. Rachel, I've been there also. This is a healing space, as is Mystic Tea Salon. Feel free to join today and see what you think. Thanks, Charlie. Cool. Marnie, I always felt like it never made sense that Jesus only represented man on earth. If we need to take responsibility for all that we create, wouldn't the creator? Yeah, so yeah, why just us? That just makes no sense. It's not logical. It's not logical, Captain. Let's see. I'm gonna skip back up here a little bit and see if what else is going on. Do, 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 do. Uh, not too dense. Oh, thanks, Cynthia. Not too dense. Perfect. Thanks. Love the New Jersey accent. Hey, made you laugh. That's what I was aiming for. Um, wicked good. Wicked good. No, no, no. Says so. Not too dense at all. This world has enough superficial words. We need true words that change our worlds. Thank you. When I was in the pulpit, um, I had to. I could be fairly intellectual and I could definitely be a storyteller. And when I was on TV, I could be a storyteller. But I want to really mesh these things. I really want to, like I'm doing here. This is kind of a risky thing that I thought it was risky trying to just actually say what I think and put it how I think. So I thank you so much for your encouragement to continue on this path that I'm going on. It's it was felt kind of risky to me, but I really felt called to it. I will listen first with my heart and later with my head. Oh, nice, Kristen. That's let's see, Rowan. To at Galaxy Glitter Latte, read A Course in Miracles if you want to understand how that really works. Yeah, A Course in Miracles. I haven't read much of it, but has great reports. What I've read has been wonderful, and the Course in Miracles people say that a lot of stuff that I say from my near death experience is in that book. And, having not read it, I didn't know that till they told me. Um, good for you, Carmen. I wonder what happened to Carmen. I'm skipping back up to the top. What happened to Carmen? Oh, thank you, Connie, also for the super chat. I see that now. And I'm going, let's see. Do 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 do. That's my musical. That's music. Do do do. Susie, long hair, bare feet, sandals, maybe. Yeah. Um, and who is to say that we don't reincarnate? Yeah. Okay. Sun farmer. Agreed. And who's to say we don't reincarnate on an alien planet from Earth or in another dimension altogether? I definitely, when I was dead, I saw into my incarnations. Okay, were they reincarnations? It wasn't a word I was going to use when I was there because I was much bigger than any one of these incarnations that I was having simultaneously to my looking at them, and they were all there at once. I peeked into one or two of them, and I can't tell you what planet they were on, and I ordered what universe. Uh, but partly that is my brain is too small to grasp now those things that happened on the other side. I came back like most all NDEers with only a teeny, 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 itsy bitsy, tiny bit of our experience, the part that fits inside us, which is why we spend our lives. Some of us spend our lives trying to get out of the way to allow it to come in because I know I can't grab it with my head. Anyway, um, incarnations on other planets. Why not? I That's what it looked like to me. Other lives and other worlds. For sure. Did I ever say that from the pulpit? You don't have to ask that question. I asked that question. Peter, did you ever say that from the pulpit? Are you kidding me? No. Perhaps not every living thing needs salvation. Yeah, definitely the flowers don't, Tiffany. The wildflowers don't need salvation, Tiffany. There are many living beings on our planet alone. Yeah, that's right. Do dolphins? Do apes? Do butterflies? I think this is why I don't know if you've ever noticed this, okay? I am not an evangelist. Okay, so yes, I'm out there talking about this all the time, but I really don't give a Sierra about convincing anybody. I don't, because everybody's going to find out the moment they die. The moment they die. So I don't have any investment in trying to talk anybody into this because already I know there's salvation everywhere, all the time. for everyone and everything. And maybe, like me, you'll go through a hell. Or maybe I think that I don't know everything. That's for darn sure. But I just do know this, that the golden light of the divine is inside of every single living creature that there is. And that includes trees, ants, bacteria, viruses. There's nothing that is alive that is separate from love. Nothing. Anywhere. Connected. Yeah. So, yeah. Just like NDEs being custom for the soul, so can reincarnation be to come back on another planet or dimension just for that experience, Sun Farmer. Yes. Continuing what you were saying. Yep. Um, Wanda, humility, greater than sign, hubris, any day. Delusions of specialness are counterproductive. They are counterproductive. And not only that, they're not real. No, they're not even real. They're just ego, vaporous, unsubstantial. I gotta, it's, what time is it? It's still before 10, before the hour. Top of the hour, Zoom link is below, and hope to see you there. Um, we had a peak of 90 people this morning. At least that's what I saw. That's great. That's our top number for live show performance, live stream, live. What do you call this thing anyway? I call it not church, but I don't even know what I call that I do in the morning. It's not a sermon. God forbid. Eesh. Um, I don't know what to call it. I don't know. Anyway, my talk this morning. Breathtaking, beautiful. Thank you, Hugo. Hey, Elaine. You're welcome, Jason. Everyone is already saved. They just don't know it, Elaine. Yeah, yes, exactly. That's what I was saying a minute ago. And I'm just getting down to the chat. You said that at 10:25, quite a while ago. There are many Christian words that, oh, yeah, we started there. So where are we? I'm going to slide down to the bottom. You've all been chatting away down here. Thank you, Nat. Nat fam. Appreciate that. Super chat. Thanks. Let's see. Skipping down. Peter, do you plan to write another book? Yes, Stuart. I have another book that's actually already written. I'm just trying to finish the movie first. Okay, so long story short, I get a day a week to write on the movie or my book, and I've been under contract for the movie for almost 2 years now, and I need to finish that, and that's going to get done. And when that gets done, and I should be done with that, God help me, by February, all the work should be done on my end. I'll pick out the book again, and I'll be talking to my agent again, and we'll get that next book going. It's going to be an exploration of. I've got other books planned, by the way. It's not the last book. Um, it's going to be an exploration of mysticism in depth, mostly my own stuff I've never talked about or chatted about in little bits, not in depth, that relates to every other mystic in the world. That brings my hope is in the same way that I joined the near death community publicly to encourage near death experiencers to speak their truth of their experience. That's why I wrote the book. I want to do the same for mystics with this next book. I want mystics to be able to feel free, or more free anyway, to speak about the truth of their experience, of your experience. So yes, thanks for asking, Stuart. Um, I shouldn't say I already know not to say A Course in Miracles, says Connie. I've been told to read that book too. It's a series of books, so you have to be committed. Yeah, and they're dense. It's dense writing too. I no longer discount anything anymore. I now realize that everything is possible in spirit, says Connie. Yeah, it's true. Hey, John, I can be just read, but it's more of a path. Oh, it can be just read. He means the Course in Miracles. It can be just read, but it's more of a path meant to be studied, read over and over. Just saying, John's right. It's like any other spiritual book of weighty import, scripture. Let's see. Spiritual discussion, gathering. Yeah, so there's a gathering, Mary Kay, if that's what you're asking, at the Mystic Tea Salon. The link is in the description below, and we meet every week. Last week we had 47 people. You can lurk if you want to, come if you want to. A meeting of compassionate hearts and minds. Yes, So if you're talking about Mystic Tea Salon and humble, uh, ruminations. Oh, Wanda, that's funny. Thank you. Looking forward to your book movie. Thanks. It's coming. Working on it. It's just, I had to get Not Church going. And so that takes up most of my time every week. Might you be able to answer why is there suffering? I have addressed that question. And I will maybe do a video on that to make it because I don't think it's easy to find in my video stream and my channel, but I have talked about suffering and why it exists. Maybe and if anybody remembers whether I have a video titled about that, please let me know because I'm not very good at that kind of thing, like remembering what the title of things are. But I can do another one on that, like this one. This one is specifically targeted in the title for people for searchability. So I can help with that. I don't have the full answer about why they're suffering, but I've seen enough to know some of the response, some of the truth. Um, got about 9 minutes left here or less because I'm going to take a break. So it's like 5 minutes left. Thanks for being here this morning, everybody. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. It's super helpful. And it helps me want to keep going. I mean, I want to keep going. I'm going to keep going. Don't worry about that. This is what I mean. I didn't mean to imply that. But it helps. It helps. Thank you, Emily. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you. Pat, appreciated your response. Absolutely agree. It's a global community, a space to be at one with what is what I am. Love it. It is. It's totally like that. Not church, not sermon. Thought about that. So, not sermon. I'll do a poll. I'll put up a poll this week and I'll figure out how to ask that question. Not sermon. I've thought about that. Thanks. Mary Kay, you're welcome. Mary, thank you. You're welcome. Kristen, an archivist. What an idea. Oh, we need an archivist? Well, that's an idea. I've never is that what you're saying? Huh, interesting. Anyway, I have all of them in writing. I mean, I didn't exactly say exactly what I wrote all the time, but I have a database of writing that could help with that. I don't know. An archivist. Interesting idea. I keep buffering, so I leave Mystic Tea Salon. So if you leave Mystic Tea Salon, it's not intentional. That's okay, Betty. Buffering is part of life. It shut off your video. So that'll eliminate a lot of the data stream. So audio takes up this much data, video takes up that much data. And if you cut that away, you've got all of that left over in order to power off your audio. Yeah, I found out I'm a techie. I found out I'm a techie when I was working in television. The engineers sort of liked me. I can't say they loved me, but they sort of liked me. It was cool. Um, I am definitely not as smart as those guys are in the way they did things. But anyway, I keep buffering you do. Like, thank you. You're welcome, Tiffany. Sunflower, I usually describe myself as spiritually without doctrine. Yeah, me too. Spiritual without doctrine, non doctrinal. You're welcome, NatFam. All right, everybody, I'm going to go. I knew you were a computer genius. I'm just a techie. But I can say that I'm going to a whole new rig's coming. A whole new computer rig is coming. It's most of the parts are here. I just have to put the whole thing together. So maybe next week I'll be running on a whole new system. We'll see. It might be 2 weeks before I get the whole thing together. Anyway, peace and love, everybody. I'll see you at Mystic Tea Salon. Look for the Zoom link. Visit peterpanagore.love. Thanks for being here. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for liking the video. It's not hard to feel dismay and anguish over the tumults of human existence, but do not despair. The continuity of love is always there. Trust is the key. So beautifully said, Wanda. So I'll say peace and love to everyone and namaste, and I'll give Wanda the last word by reading what she just read, by reading what she just wrote. But peace and love and namaste, everybody. It's not hard to feel dismay and anguish over the tumults of human experience. I should get it right, though. It's not hard to feel dismay and anguish over the tumults of human existence, but do not despair. The continuity of love is always there. Trust is key. Peace. Thanks, Rod.